All right, KISS Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a KISS-related podcast by the board, for the board. We hope that you enjoy. Surprise! Welcome to an episode 407 of the KissFAQ Podcast. We aren't going to do a show this week until Saturday when we've got a whole gaggle of people, the Scandinavians are invading, to try and test their knowledge against Lonnie on the Revenge album and era. The 30th anniversary is, of course, this year, so we're going to celebrate it. Quizmeister Daniel has come up with a whole selection of questions. I think he's actually thinking about allowing the rabble in to participate, so tune into the live broadcast. You might be able to participate as a contestant. We got a ton of people. I think Andrew's going to be there, Lonnie, Ken, Mark, Daniel. I'll be there. I'm not participating in the quiz. I don't know shit. I have to write it all down, as I've said like 10,000 times. But it should be real fun. So big thanks to Daniel for organizing that, and to everyone who does tune in. That's Saturday, May the 7th. 10 a.m. Pacific time, and there's a YouTube link for it already on the FAQ website and Facebook page. All right, let's get into it. Someone leaked it. Someone opened their mouth. Someone flapped their lips, and their lips are apparently the same size as their tongue. And Gene Simmons, of course, cannot be fired for talking about the next possible deluxe edition. And he told Rock Tales with Amit Zappa, good guitarist. No, it's Dweezil. So the other one. That KISS were working on a Creatures of the Night box that would include demos and behind-the-scenes stuff. So I've put a little blast out. I've been aware of this for a little while. So there is a post stickied to the top of the KISS FAQ message board, which you don't have to be a member of to read. And in it, I detail some of the things that might be of interest to the team who are actually officially working on that product. So if you have something, this is your chance, because you found out about it courtesy of Uncle Gene before you probably should have. Therefore, if you have something in your cave, in your collection, in your personal KISS vault, or in your mom's attic. No, scratch the mom's attic, because that's always bullshit. Something that you really have that you think the KISS Army really has to see that the team might be interested in, there is a contact email. And I do want to just say, nothing that you submit through me to be forwarded to the team will be used by me in any way other than forwarding it to the team. I will not use any information in any book or publication or forward that information to anyone else who might be. It is strictly for the benefit of this product and project, and they will decide whether to get in contact with you if you have something of interest. So low-res scans, good enough for them to see what you have, be descriptive in what you have or may have, and we don't want anything from the fricking interwebs. Unless you own it, unless you took a photo from the audience that you own, you can't submit anything that anyone else owns rights for. So, what do you have? You probably got something. Who knows?
I went to the Creatures tour, so I have the T-shirt, which is right there.
Did you go to Worcester with the Fire Marshal show?
Worcester, yeah, the one that Paul Stanley came out.
I say English style was first.
Yeah, the one that Paul Stanley come running out and tripped over because they said he was drunk he was ripping. He was so pissed off that night on that show because the fire marshals basically banned KISS from doing anything.
Yeah, I think Russo was the promoter, and he took a bath on it, and he was bussing people in and offering that your tickets for this other location were going to be valid because it got constricted down to one show or something. I don't remember off the top of the head. Read my book.
They were supposed to play in Providence, Rhode Island, the Civic Center. I think it was the night before, or maybe 2 nights before. Either way, they didn't sell enough tickets. They canceled it, and then Russo basically had chartered buses, and anybody wanted to go, they bust them up to Worcester. So that was that story. And, the fire marshals basically banned KISS, and Paul came out, tripped over the tank wheel, and he was ripping all night, swearing. I've never heard KISS swear before. I've never heard it live. That was like a no-no. But, oh, yeah, he was absolutely ripping. And But anyways, I got this T-shirt, ticket stub, of course. I have a tour book. Ooh, a tour book.
Everyone's got the tour book. Yeah, tour books are covered, I'm pretty sure. I have no idea, but they're pretty common.
Yeah, a pin, the little creature's pin.
We're talking rarities, so ticket stubs are probably something, but it's very variable, the ones that they might be interested in. I don't know, newspaper ads, or something that I always say submit. But it really is about the rarities, and again, photos. If you went to an in-store in Europe, come on, they did the promo tour there. There's the Virgin Megastore. Do you take photos of that? Did you take the photos of them and you own the rights to them? Well, that sort of stuff would be very interesting. Are you sitting on negatives? That again from a show, then you were in the front row or something and you were getting really good shots, and you can sign off an affidavit or whatever that you own those and took those and have the rights. Who knows? And if it's something that you're on the fence about, if it's a cassette, if it's something really common, forget it. I don't think they'd be interested, but it'll get filtered through by those who make the decisions and look at that stuff. And if in doubt, send it in. Put it through the filter and see if you get a response. I will respond to you acknowledging that I've received it and that I've forwarded it, and that's as much as you're guaranteed, is that I will acknowledge you.
And you know what I missed too, and I never knew about it until after the fact, which that's kind of a bummer, was that they did a in-store appearance at the Strawberries around the corner from the Worcester Centrum at the time too, and I didn't see it, but I saw photos from it because the following year Vinnie Vincent did one. They went to that one with the Invasions guys. So, man, you imagine that.
That was Lick It Up, though, wasn't it?
No, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Eric Carr, and Vinnie Vincent at the Strawberries, all in the gear. And actually, they ran late because they stopped. They did everybody. So even the night they showed the Worcester show ended up being late because I think I even got out of there. I think it was after 11 o'clock or something back then, and I got home in time because they're only about a half hour away from home. They did actually, the radio station is no longer around, and they actually hated KISS anyways, but it's kind of funny. They're gone and KISS is still around. Anyways, they actually did a rebroadcast of the show. You know what I mean? They took, whatever songs they did. Sometimes they take them off from like a live or live 2, but they did the full show that they did. You know what I mean? It was kind of cool. And I recorded. I got it still on cassette. So that was kind of neat. So, but I'm kind of bummed I missed that Strawberries thing, man. It was right around the corner. Imagine that. Crazy. Nuts.
It happens. So this is fans' opportunity. You've heard about something a little earlier. Instead of the comments after the fact of, oh, I wish they'd put this in or done this. Here's your chance. Might not happen again. You don't know. So let's move on. I got something. I got to pimp this because it's just not selling. Aerosmith Hardcovers, and you can maybe only just see that. I've done a hardcover of the production version, which has a blue border. Some of these are actually error copies. They didn't put the gloss on them, so it feels like really soft blue jeans. How appropriate for Aerosmith. Those are going to be up on the Aerosmith on Tour website imminently. They come with 3 photographs that Andy took.
Yeah, and I'm going to be all honest. I live in New England, and I am not an Aerosmith fan, but I'll tell you, when Julian decided to come here to visit, and I told him, don't stay in Boston. There's not really too much Aerosmith history actually in the city. It's all outside the city and up in New Hampshire and stuff. So I told him, you got to come out my way, stay at my way, and I'll take the week off or so in and out of work. And I says, I'll take the trip with you. And I've been honest. I am not an Aerosmith fan. I've said it my whole life, and I say it to the day that. But I went with Julian to some of these places, and even I was taken back by some of the stuff. It's still there. It's so weird that I've been to a lot of KISS places in New York and everywhere else, and they're gone. Some of the most famous places in KISS things are either gone or they won't let you in at all. But it was very interesting going with you, seeing all this Aerosmith stuff, and I was actually intrigued by it because I'm like, we walked into places that are still there, and they still kind of look like the 70s, right? Because some of the places were just filled with.
Oh, come
chairs
on.
and-
Hopedale, the town hall auditorium that we went to upstairs, that looked like 1970s, like it hadn't been painted or cleaned since the 70s. I mean, I would have loved to have gone through some of those files to see if there was anything relating to entertainment there, but that's one of the photos that's in the hardcover, a print of that, me on stage. With my arms spread showing kind of for scale. But that was the coolest part of anyone who's interested in music history. I will probably have to come back for volume 2 because I need to go to the other rehearsal space. I need to go to the jail where they took the photo inside permanent vacation to see if the police will let me in to take a photo inside the cell like that. I mean, I have no problem getting to jail. Trust me on that. But
So
I'd like to do it officially.
Yeah. So I'm telling everybody, if you're an Aerosmith fan, you gotta get this book. I'm telling you, the book is like this thick. There's awesome pictures that nobody's ever seen before. Period. In places that probably people didn't even hear about or know about. This guy went all out. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
way all out. So,
those who have gotten it do appreciate it, but it's a deep. It really is a deep dive. There is a narrative-only version on Kindle if you just want to read the short version of the band's history that I wrote to go with it. Let's get off that band, back onto KISS. Obviously, the reason we're here is that KISS Kruise has announced a week 1 sailing because of demand. Let me read this because it really sets up the rest of the conversation. Ahoy, cruisers! You all sold out. Yeah, the KISS Kruise XI so quickly, and we couldn't have thousands of fans miss the last of KISS's performance on the high seas. So we've added another KISS Kruise this October. All guests are currently booked on the waiting list for the KISS Kruise XI Week 2, October 29th through November the 3rd. That's the original one that's sailing. So anyone who signed up thinking that those are going to be the last performances on the high seas, you are indeed protected by that promise. Well, that KISS promise. That those will be the last ones, but they've added one sailing from October the 24th to the 29th from Los Angeles to Cabo San Lucas and Ensenada, Mexico, for the same KISS cruise. And for our Mexican friends out there, happy Cinco de Mayo today. So both week 1 and week 2 will have the same activities with KISS and each individual member and the same number of KISS shows, but the lineups will vary, obviously, because the other bands and stuff that have booked on for, the original one may not necessarily be available for the first one. And currently booked guests will get the chance. Here's the cool. I actually think this is a fantastic idea, a great branding announcement that the people who are booked currently on KISS Kruise XI have the opportunity to become a 2-timer. All guests who sail on both weeks this year will receive an exclusive laminate, an exclusive item, I guess that's an additional one, signed by KISS. They will get to attend and enjoy a happy hour with KISS and a specialty 2-timer t-shirt. But KISS will not be signing or taking individual photos at the happy hour, so it's a kind of happy hour, but not a happy ending hour. So don't bring your bags full of KISS shit to the event to sign. And you know what? I think anyone who's able to do 2 cruises within that span of time deserves a fucking medal, not just a meeting with KISS, because, like I've said, I did the cruise once, and that was more than enough for my personal taste. I know there are a lot of die-hard cruisers, a lot of people who have enjoyed going to every single one, who are now pissed off that they've added another one as if they weren't special enough already. Andy, here's your quarter. Go. What are your thoughts on KISS Kruise? Actually, I'm going to call these KISS Kruise 11 exclamation and KISS Kruise 11 2, just like a live and a live 2.
Yeah. First of all, I've been on 8 or 9. I get confused because of the whole geek area. But I've been involved for 12 years. You might not think about it, but with the COVID and setting up hotels for everybody and having events and stuff for all these years, if some people don't remember or maybe just don't know who I am, which is kind of weird, but yeah, people don't know who I am or maybe don't want to, whoever. So, like Peter and Vinny and stuff, all that kind of stuff like that, 4x Feet and stuff like that. So anyways, so every year I've set up a hotel or had other people help set up hotels and all this stuff. So anyways, first of all, I got to thank everybody who believed in me, because even when I didn't go on the cruise, I still set up hotels for everybody to save people money. It had nothing to do with me about making money. It was helping other fans out, because that's what it was supposed to be the whole time.
That's what fans are supposed to do. So power and respect to you for doing that, Andy.
That was the whole thing from the beginning, but things have changed course of everything. So anyways, so again, I had said that if we didn't get on the cruise this year, because I kind of said, hey, Kim, nudge, nudge, want to go on this last one, nudge, nudge. And she was kind of like, well, and I said, well, guess what? It's going out of California, somewhere totally different and stuff. And I'm like, you are a KISS nut. I wanted to go to some KISS spots. And I'm a Wasp fan, as everybody knows, too, that I wanted to go to some Wasp spots, too, at the same time where I'm out in California. So we go out 4 or 5 days ahead of time and all that. So anyways, I had set up I had talked to the Crown Plaza in San Pedro. It's not Pedro. It's Pedro, which is basically next to the cruise port, not Long Island. Jesus. Long Beach. Yeah, people think Long Beach is where the cruise goes out of. It goes out of San Pedro. That's where NCL is. So I contacted the Crown Plaza, got rooms, got blocks. I didn't know how it was going to go because I hadn't been on the cruise, but I still had went to Miami. I didn't know how this was going to all play out because I kind of was really not the last cruise. I really didn't pay attention to anything, basically, except for setting up the rooms for everybody, and just that was it. The rooms took off. Bang! That place holds 225. They have 225 rooms, and I had sold the block 3 times in a row, and they basically stopped me. That's how many rooms. I think I sold over 200 rooms for everybody else at a good price, because now that the cruise people know around the whole area and there's not many hotels in the area, the prices have skyrocketed. It's like $500, $600, $700 a night. Believe it or not, California is expensive, kind of like Miami. So anyways, that's that. I sold basically all the blocks. So if anybody's looking to get a room, I really don't know what to tell you. I guess you're going to have to call them, the Crown Plaza there, because I have no idea anymore. But just to give everybody a heads up, I'm such a nice guy. I've already contacted the Crown Plaza again to see if I can set up rooms again for the people who are going to go on what I'm going to call KK11 now, and I'm going to call the second one KK12, because that's the way it should be. So I've contacted, I'm waiting for them to get back to me. So if you plan on going to the first cruise now, which I call KK11, I'm going to try to set up rooms again for the 22nd and 23rd to try to save you money. But I won't be there, but at least you guys will have a place to go. So how's that? So that's the first information. Ding, 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 ding. So that's with that. So I'm hopefully you'll hold back to that. So that's that. Next question. Next. What do you want?
Yeah. So
what do I think?
Yeah. Okay. You're a longtime cruiser, but I wouldn't say you're one of the people who walk around on a cruise with chest puffed out, nose up, saying, "I'm a neat commandant." You know.
No, I do
I'm like,
not.
"Oh, hello, sailor."
No, I actually walk around with a big laugh on my face, throwing out sometimes picks and pins, and just having fun with people I've met over the years. So this probably comes up to what do I think my opinion about them having a second cruise. I really don't care. They're going to do what they want to do. They had sent out a survey basically asking what we thought. As soon as I saw the survey, which wasn't really a survey, it was kind of goofy. They didn't really, I forgot what the questions were. They weren't really questions. Oh, if you're on the first cruise, which is now the second cruise, would you be interested in going on the first one? It was kind of silly questions, kind of like really kind of dumb. They didn't really let us give your opinion, like, oh, this is a terrible idea and this and that, not like, on the Facebook group. So me personally, I don't care. I don't care if they have a second one. I guess you have to think about it, right? Say KISS sells out Madison Square Garden, and they're like, oh, we're going to add on another one. Oh, we're going to add another one. Keep going. Would you get mad at them for that? No. And you can't really blame 6 men. It's not really 6 men thing.
Let me interrupt. I would just like to say something to Sixthman Victoria. You are a saint. I would just like to give a massive shout out to the Sixthman's, staff, who I very much appreciated on the one cruise I went to for being utter professionals, fantastic people, really great at communication and dealing with a lot of garbage. The amount of garbage that those poor people have been putting up and enduring from fans is just mind-boggling and unacceptable, some of the abuse. I know everyone has strong opinions on a lot of things when it comes to KISS. We're very opinionated. We're very passionate. But remember, these people are not your targets for anger. It's okay to be disappointed if you're pissed off about this happening. Don't take it out on the messengers, which means us too. It doesn't matter with me. I don't give a shit. Be nice to Andy, though.
Yeah, it's weird because we've been saying it for years now. They are just the messengers, and some people get it, some people don't. We all know that Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons make the rules, and it's basically, as been saying now for the last X amount of years, Paul Stanley runs the show. So it's their decision. It's Paul and Gene's decision. If they want to do another cruise, they're going to do another cruise.
Yeah, this is all about money and the prospect of earning more easy money, selling more basses, selling more guitars, selling more drum heads. The add-on activities are easy money. I've done one. So I'm not speaking out of my ass. I have not done all the cruises, so I'm not as invested in it as some of you are out there who have done all of them, and I'm sorry that I can't see that side of the equation to properly represent your point of view and some of those frustrations. But I have done the add-ons. They've been fantastic. I've been a guest at some as well. And I've brought people in as my plus one to enjoy the fringe benefit of some of those things. You have to look back at the fundamental reason why you made the decision to go on that very first cruise before you knew there would be multiple ones, before it became something that you could collect as an experience. I've got every cruise in my collection. I'm sure that's a grand thing to be able to do. And more power to you if you have. But a business doesn't care about your trophy case. A business cares about the prospective money, especially at a time after the industry has been shut down for years. It was badly impacted. I'm still surprised that a lot of them didn't file for bankruptcy and that I got my refund from, KISS Kruise XI. I actually booked to go on that.
You did?
And I did, and I bought another Paul Stanley guitar for that.
Oh.
But after the delay, I took the refund, and Paul Stanley Guitar refunded me for the guitar instantaneously because I didn't want to wait that year. And I'm glad for me that I didn't, because I went to Hawaii with my wife, which she ain't coming on a cruise with me. She hates KISS. She hates everything to do with KISS. And I would much rather go to Hawaii with my wife any day of the week than do anything KISS related, even if it's the last show. I don't care. I'm going to Hawaii with my wife again this year. And that means more to me for all the years that we didn't get to do stuff on our anniversary. But everyone's a different case. Everyone's got what's important to them, and no one's is more valuable than the next. What I think is very important as well, other than being nice to the messengers, is that this may offer someone who missed out on the opportunity to go on the cruise the opportunity to fulfill a lifelong wish for themselves. Or they may have gone on the first cruise and never been able to get back on one. We've been through a lot over the past few years in the United States, worldwide, Europe, Australia. It's only just opening up in some markets that some people are now able to go and do these events. A lot of people have lost jobs. For fuck's sake, they've lost loved ones. So I really hope that people who are angry about it can at least dial it back and take that point into consideration, that this may be some very good social medicine for someone.
Well, let me now I'm going to play a little bit of the devil advocate here in a little bit.
Because you've got a perspective I don't.
Yeah. Now, like I said, I've been on the 8 cruises or 9, and then this will be whatever. So when I signed up for the pre-sale, you're supposed to get a booking number. I say booking number. I keep saying booking. It's actually booking time. And, I never got one. Kim never got one either. We both signed to make sure that we got it because we decided to go. And we basically said, well, if we really don't get on, if it sells out, we never get a chance to get on because everybody the year before you gets to go, even if it's your first cruise, whatever. So this is what got me. I never got a booking time, period, which I wasn't really too happy about it. But we were lucky that we have friends who said, hey, Andy, Andy, Kim, we want to see you guys. We want you to go. This is be so cool. If this is really the last one, you should be there. Come room with us. And I mean, it was like at the 11th hour, and the cruise was selling fast. And we're like, okay, we'll do it. We're gonna room with you guys, this and that. And then he went in the hospital, and then he had a real emergency, and I forgot what he had, but I mean, he was literally in the hospital and stuff. And I'm freaking out, and his girlfriend's freaking out. We're all like, oh my god. And 6 minutes, like, sending messages, and then they're like, well, you can book after he gets out of the hospital. Are you kidding me? Within the next couple hours, I think the next morning or by then, this cruise is sold out. But it irked me because I never got even a time slot. That's what got me the first thing. But now, because we booked with them, we had to get a higher room because we needed a little bit more room. We just decided, whatever. That's our choice. Actually, there were no bottom cabins. We didn't have a choice, actually. So we had to pick a higher cabin. And also, if you don't know, you've never done this before, heard about this, that they only give you 2 KISS tickets. You have to buy the other 2. So we had to buy the other 2, and it's $500. You know what I mean? So we said, well, we'll do it. Why go on a KISS cruise if you're not going to go see KISS in the indoor show? It doesn't make sense to me, but some people don't. Whatever.
Well, they got young kids as well, so.
Yeah, I get it, yeah. So this is what gets me now. This is what irks me the most about the second cruise, me personally, because this is the situation we're in. Even though we are going to love our roommates, we're friends with them, even they probably would say the same thing. We could now go on the first one. I'm probably going to get a booking slot because now somebody knows about this anyways. Besides this, I've already mentioned it to somebody in 6-man going, I never got a time slot in the first place. So if I now want to go on the first one, I might be able to get on the first one with a cheaper room, my own room, our own room, and I wouldn't have to pay for the tickets. So that's $500 automatically back in my pocket plus a cheaper room. So I would probably at least save $1,000. So that's what irks me about it. I don't care to having a second one, but the way it's being done that way, that's what kind of irks me a little bit on that. And the second thing, now that I'm seeing this, it doesn't really irk me, but it's kind of weird that if you decide to go on the first cruise now and the second one, so you go on be a 2-timer, you're going to get all this extra stuff, even if this is your first or second cruise. You know what I mean? Now you have some people, and I'm not saying I'm all high in glory and I should be ahead of everybody else. I'm not saying that, but I know there's other people who have been on every single one of these KISS cruises, but they're not going to be able to go on the first one. So they're going to miss out on, say the special shirt and the, trophy thing and the party thing and everything else. And you feel kind of bad for them because they invested all this money and all this stuff. And now they're not going to be able to get that, which kind of stinks.
No.
You know what I mean?
They're not entitled to it on that part.
I'm not saying they're entitled.
No, that is an entitlement mentality to me, that trying to collect them all. Well, if you can afford to go on all 11 cruises, or all the cruises, yeah, I feel bad for you. I do get it. I think Sixthman needs to take into account something special for people who, well, because then anyone would say that they were going to go on it, and have a complete collection of everything. So it's a no-win situation. Well, you know what? Life is simply life. You don't get to do absolutely everything that you may think you should have been able to do. Again, a business doesn't care about those frequent flyer miles. Look at how often any business has changed its policies to their own, advantage. So, I'm sorry. Welcome to the playground of life.
Yeah. Now, the other part of this discussion is, what are the other bands? Now they're saying they're hopefully going to announce all the other bands that'll be on this cruise before they actually sell it to everybody, because that's a big uproar now too. And I still don't get it. it's a KISS cruise, man. The more KISS, the merrier for me personally. I know people say, "Oh, I need something else." Why? I don't know. If it's all KISS, 24 hours, 5 days a week there, 5 days there, I'm fine with it. I don't know why people get upset with it. Yes, I know they need other bands to fill in other things and fill it. So I get it.
I only have one question: is Bruce Kulick available? Because I've seen Buck Cherry a bunch of times. I like them, but I don't give a shit if they're available for week one. I'm sure someone does. Well, sorry, whoever you are. Stryper, are they available for week one? Who knows?
Somebody said Stryper has nothing going on. They must be a big Stryper fan, so I guess they got nothing going on. But me personally, I know people like certain bands. Buck Cherry, I could care less. I saw them. I heard them. I had that enough. I don't even know why they're even there in the first place.
Well, Rat had to bow out, didn't they? Weren't they originally scheduled at one point, or was that some other one? I lose track.
Sebastian Bach didn't get on because supposedly passport or something. But
he's Canadian.
Yeah. I'm hopefully like Bruce Kulick gets on the first one for those people. I mean, that's
Bruce to me is the deal breaker that I would be adamant about, and they better. I hope Grand Funk doesn't have anything scheduled that week because again, he does a lot of work with Funk, and you don't want to jeopardize that relationship. He's been with them 25 years nearly, so since the end of KISS essentially, but also as a sales point for these last few cruises, Bruce has saved the cruise.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Now that we mentioned that, it does. People I've seen from like the post complaining about, and it kind of hurt. It's a bummer thing for me too. Is that now anybody's just say, just stay off Facebook, just don't say nothing. You got friends all over the place, all over. You're going to hear all the songs before you get on if you're only going on the second one and not the first one, because if you're lucky now, KISS, Gene and Paul, like. They don't change. They're not even going deep. The whole cruise, that's the other thing that kills me too.
They got away from doing the deep cuts and filling in those gaps.
So now if they do one, say they play, I don't know, just pull out one. Just say they play All the Way, right? Just throw that one out there. They play, I gotta play All the Way, and that's it. And then by the time you get to the second cruise, well, we know they're playing all the way. Now, the last cruise that we went on, they're like, hey, yeah, we went to show one. We used to take show two all the time. Then we decided to switch over to show one for a couple of years just to try it out, right? So then all of a sudden, everybody's all pumped, all psyched, and then all of a sudden they come out, and everybody's all pumped and psyched and ready to go, and all of a sudden Paul says, well, we haven't practiced that long. We're going to do the for the end of the tour.
Oh, God, don't rub that salt in my wound, man.
The whole crowd's like a balloon went out of them.
I just sat the fuck down. I was like,
Everybody just looked at each other and said, ugh. You know what I mean? It was really disappointing.
Yeah, I was there.
It was the Bruce. And I'm telling you, it's like, I'm serious. Even though it's a KISS cruise, it seems like it's the Bruce Kulick crew, a special guest KISS now. In a way, in a way, kind of weird way, because everybody wants to hear. And I guess Gene said to somebody on the last cruise, they played, I forgot what they played last. I didn't really pay attention. They played one or two songs that were deeper, and they took them out the night two. And somebody asked Gene, he goes, because the crowd wasn't into it.
And that is still that's 100% true and fair. That if they're watching it and you're a bunch of wet rags out there, why would they?
Well, but that's...
At least they still had to take it off all the way, making love.
Because they did it. They made it that way. They killed it themselves, kind of, in a way.
It was She's So European and All Night, by the way.
No. So they should have kept it deep cuts and kept making that a point. If you come on this KISS cruise, this is what it's about. It's about deep cuts or ones we haven't played.
So here's the point for them to take into. Gene has flapped his lips about Creatures. Throw in Killer and Saint and Sinner for all four shows, so that Those are your two rarities, and every single person, regardless of the show that they're attending on the cruise, is guaranteed to hear those two rarities performed by KISS. The rest of it can be all mix and match fluff, and to hell with the complaints, because so many of these songs have been done repeatedly throughout the cruise. You know, that the other, what is it, they generally do 15, 16 songs now during these. The other 14, let's just say they do 16, really don't matter, because they can be drawn from that catalog. But everyone gets two exclusive songs. If you happen to go to two shows, well, shame on you. You know, because you're only guaranteed one. But you shouldn't have anyone who's going to either or to miss out. So it is a bit of it is a challenging situation. When I went to the second night on the cruise I went to, I was there photographer's pass. So, you know, I did get thrown out after 3 songs. So I was really interested to see if they were going to do the same goddamn rehearsal. I was like sitting there, you know, click, 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 the fuckers, click, 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 fuckers. You know, are you gonna, you know, do something? And unfortunately they didn't. But I understand the conflict that happens between night 1 show and night 2. Number 1, the people who are going to night 2 show, I'll get there, you know, have the surprise ruined. But if they announce in advance that for this tour we will be doing the only ever live performances of a couple of exclusive songs, and we will be doing them at all 4 shows that we perform on the boat, you know, I think that would go some way. Now, for the very final performance, they can't do... I really don't see how they could do something special on the very final, if this is the final shows at sea, because that just wouldn't be fair to the people who'd gone to the first show on the week 2, or the KISS Kruise 211. It's going to get so fucking good. We're going to have to call this week 1 and week 2 just for simplicity.
And that's another thing I had in the back of my mind, was hoping, praying, not much of a prayer, but crossing my fingers that if they, you know, when they only had 1 cruise, that they would really practice and do something really bizarre. You know, instead of doing 1 or 2 really crazy songs that last cruise, those 2 nights, that they would go like 5 or 6, like really try to go wicked. But now with another cruise
they could, because that's billed as the last ever, and the people who bought it as the last ever. So there should be in some way. I mean, then you get into the problems of the merch. Do you call it week 1 or week 2? Because then you get people who are left out of, you know, getting the merch. They thought they were all getting like exclusive merch. Now they've said there'll be a free T-shirt for 2-timers. You know, so that's a whole other bag of worms.
Yeah. You know what? I think it's kind of weird that, you know, how could KISS, like, you know, money, how could they miss this opportunity not changing the names of them? KISS Kruise 11, now the other one is now officially moved over to KISS Kruise 12. I don't think anybody would have a problem with it. You imagine the merchandise, the money they can make? They would make a ton, even more money. But now that if they leave it as this, everything's going to be the same. But the coins and some of the stuff actually have the dates on them. So what are they going to do? Just put a KISS Kruise 11?
Maybe they do.
24th through November 3rd. But they would make a ton more money if they split up. I don't know. People out there probably going,
different napkins, different drinks, cups, and all that shit. I mean, it becomes a mess. That's for certain. And then you start understanding where maybe some of the rage comes from, because people who bought in thinking this is the last, this is it. I'm going to stock up on napkins that I can put up on eBay for $1 each, you know, and all that shit, or just for the, you know. I went on the last KISS Cruise. You didn't. You know, the bragging rights. Come on, it's important to us as people.
Yeah, I'm going on the last KISS Cruise, but I'm going to show 1. So technically, I'm not even going to the last show on the KISS Cruise ever. I don't care. Not a big deal. At least I'm there. But you know what I mean?
You know, there's one thing. At least there's no one solution.
I'm alive. I have a job. I work. Working hard to do this. It's not like I'm a millionaire either. It's you know, like you said, there's a lot of shit that's going on with the world that are way worse problems than this whole KISS thing. And KISS is KISS, man. you got to think about it too. Oh, there'll never be a reunion. They'll never put the makeup back on. You know what I mean? Oh, they'll never put anybody else in, Peter's makeup.
You never say never with KISS. If you haven't learned that at this point in the exercise, shame on you. You never say never. I only have one question. I have one very important question about all this. Where's our Dubai shit?
Oh,
Ken, that was for you.
Somebody else mentioned that too, right before they called you there. Like, hey, did you ever get? No. I'm glad I didn't get any of that stuff. I don't know what it is. I just never bought into that stuff. I don't know. I'm glad I didn't. Whew, sweating on that one. So I don't know. There's ups and downs. Now there are people on that board is saying like, well, I'm on the wait list. I should get to go first now to be able to book on the first cruise. Well, what about me? Why can't I book?
Yeah, what about me? I didn't get an email. I was on the booking list. I missed my booking window for this, so I haven't even had an email.
So I don't understand. So now you're getting some of the people who didn't get a chance to get on, now saying, well, I'm on the wait list, I could get on first. Well, what about the people who've been on 10 or 11? Maybe they want to get on, so they have to be put. You have to be put back on the wait list.
Yeah, technically, when the waiting list opened up for bookings on this the cruise that was supposed to be the last, my booking window came up, and there were no fucking cabins left. Well, that I would pay, that I would buy. It was either crap or it was just just outrageous. I like middle of the road kind of stuff, and I'm not sharing. I'd share with one person if he couldn't get on, but only one person. So I basically had no opportunity to book on this one anyway, regardless of the fact that I wasn't going to go. So where's my email? I haven't had any communication from Norwegian Sixthman or anything on it, and I have checked my junk filters, but I don't care. I'm not going, so just as well. So there's pros and cons to it all. Now the people that are on the wait list are worried that the people that are booked on the second one now are going to book on the first one too, and they're going to wipe it out before these people even get a chance again. Do I see that happening? No. I maybe get 30%, maybe 40%, I'll say. That's just my guess. I would imagine people from overseas that be able to take that vacation time. They get a lot of vacation time. I don't know how. Don't remind me. Why? Yeah. It's called socialism. You get benefits of free health care and vacation time with socialism. Yeah, it's evil. Yeah.
So, and I don't blame any of those people, man. If you're coming all the way from another place, some people are like 24 hours. I used to be from Australia, used to come 24 hours. If you're going to come all that way for only 5 days or 6 days, why not go on both cruises if you can afford it and you want to do it? Why not?
Come on, to an Australian flying to Los Angeles versus Miami really isn't that much difference in terms of the torture they go through.
Well, no, but I'm just saying is that why not? Why not go? Now you go from UK, right? You come from UK, now you have to travel all the way across, right?
Now it's a 12-hour flight versus I think 7. So it's a little bit more painful for the UK.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do it, man. I got to be 6.5 hours on a plane. I think I'm going to lose my mind. You know what I mean? But we're going early. I got to go to KISS sites, man. I got a whole map out. You know me. I got a whole map of line of stuff, man. Get the rental car, go hit the thing, and hit the ground running there. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I'll be driving down. I've got my reservation still because I'm going to WASP. So I did do my book. I did do my booking in case there is any event. If there is an event, I will try and get a table if I'm welcome. And it'll be my last opportunity to do a book signing, so I will be there if I'm still here.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that too. If you're in the LA area, okay, it's all free anyways. We are going to have I don't know, I have a Facebook call. It's KISS Cruises Unite, and anybody can come. It's free. Right? We're going to hang out at the hotel. There's the giant, huge pool, huge bar. Man, this place is huge compared to the Holiday Inn in Miami. So anybody can come, and we're going to just have some fun. I said I had mentioned because I did it a couple times at the Holiday Inn. If anybody wants to buy, trade, sell, I don't care. we'll grab some tables and did it. We did it a couple of years ago, and it worked out well, and people all happy. I don't care.
You know the promoters are going to come on in and put on a big $1,000 event and all that. It's LA. It's just a given. Much better than Miami in that sense, in terms of being near the center of the entertainment capital, of the United States in some ways, is still Los Angeles. Think of all the cruisers are going to get to go to the Rainbow Bar and Grill and have a Lemmy with Lemmy. There are so many sites around the Los Angeles area, and it's not easy to get around Los Angeles. It's a fucking nightmare. So plan your time wisely. But once you get on the freeways down there, it is fucking hell on earth. Absolute hell on earth, as I know from driving down to San Diego all the time. You just hit LA, and you're like, fuck this, no Vaseline, man. It's real bad.
Yeah, well, like I said, we're getting there. I think October 25th, I hit the ground running, got the rental car. I know where I'm going, and we'll see. And I told Kim, we'll see as much as we can on the 25th into the 26th. He wants to see the Hollywood sign. We'll see the Hollywood sign. We might go to Universal for the day.
Take it down to, what is it, Grumman's Theater down on the walk. Go see the KISS Star.
Yeah, all that. There's so many things on the Hollywood Strip and the other boulevard. There's so many KISS, they're right in a row. Big next building. There's so much.
See if you can find the hill that Ace crashed on and screwed up his makeup. Conway Recording Studios is still there.
I found yesterday the hotel. I'm pretty sure. I'm like 98% sure. I have the hotel where they went up to California and was staying at, where the guys jumped out from the second floor into the pool.
Oh, really?
Yep, I know the spot. I'm pretty sure I got the right hotel. So that's the one I found yesterday. So there's a lot of places I'll be able to see, and there's a couple I won't. I would love to go to Magic Mountain, but it's way up there, and I don't think we're going to have
it's way outside of it. Really is. Yeah. It's a trip. And you drive by it. I can't remember what road it is. I've just never learned California since I lived here. But, it's hard to tell. I can't advise on that. Obviously I'm up in San Francisco and I don't go out much. But, what do we have up here? For those who start up north and maybe go down south, I don't know if the Vagabond Inn's still there. Winterland's gone. So Cow Palace is still around up here, but apart from that, I don't know if Anaheim Stadium, if that's still the same one. Again, I don't give a shit about Southern California. Sorry, guys. One of those things.
I just wanted to see some stuff, and also I posted, I think 2 weeks ago, they just tore down. It's too bad, Tower Records. They just tore it down in March. It's gone. Some people are like, no, you didn't. I'm like, I'm telling you, they tore it down. You go to the historic, and I think the Viper Room and a bunch of other stuff is getting all torn down. They want to revamp the whole area. So it is what it is. So I got the spot.
Go to Gene's former house.
I am. I like that. And Kim's like, hey, you want to go to Paul's? Oh, my God, yes. So I do that.
Maybe there's some bricks left at Paul's place.
Yeah. The first stop we hit when I get out of LAX is where Hot in Hell was done. So that's prime. So that's that spot. Then Paul's house, Gene's house, where Kiss Exposed was done on the way back down. And then the first place you're going to hit is the Troubadour, because the Troubadour is on that. And then it worked my way all the way up. And I'm telling you.
Now they flattened where Kiss meets the Phantom, that mansion. That's gone.
That's late gone, I think, right? So I'm not even bothering. So Kiss Exposed. So where Kiss Exposed the house or whatever.
So are you gonna actually? This is a good point. Before we gotta get towards wrapping up here, because otherwise we'll just witter on. Are you putting together a map that you'd be willing to share with other fans, or do you not want other fans crowding your scene? Because when people think about being there, there are some sites that are worthwhile. Amoeba, for those who are record collectors, has moved. So do your due diligence about that. It was in a really good spot previously. that
Well,
had parking, but it was overpriced in many ways.
But who doesn't know the Chinese Theater, the Waxy Museum, the KISS Star? I mean, those are the basic,
right. But then you start talking about studios, residences, and maybe some off the wall kind of places, like you mentioned with the possible hotel that they stayed at. Gene used to stay at the Beverly Hills a lot. Some of the high end ones, which I don't see KISS fans getting through the frickin' gates, to be honest, but, KISS fans are very industrious.
Well, you asked nicely. When I go to places, I just say, do you mind? I'm doing a little documentary thing for myself.
Be like the butler from Exposed.
Yeah. Most of the time, they still, if you do it nicely and you tell them what it's about, and you basically say, oh, the band stayed here, the band did this, and they're like, really? And they pull up a picture, and you go, see? And they're like, wow. Oh, kind of cool, and they do it, and you just kind of move on. Thank you very much, sir, ma'am. Have a nice day. Thank you, and you move on.
See, you're giving away trade secrets right there.
Well, I don't care. But you asking me if I share that information, I say no for good reasons, because I haven't been there yet. Because then if I do, somebody posts it, and they'll say, look what I found. You know what I mean? It's like I gave you the info, and you just say, look where I am. Look what I found. I won't care after the fact, because I did it in New York, too. And I know other people have been around places, too. But I like to find some of the the really bizarre ones. You know what I mean?
So I keep saying this. Someone's got to do the ultimate KISS tour guide. You know how there used to be in the 70s, used to have these like Rand McNally or something tour guides. Well, do one on a subject matter. You open it up. It starts with USA since the band starts there, state by state. These are the important KISS sites. Do they still exist or are they gone? You list them. Here I am. I'm giving someone an idea for a book that I have no interest in doing myself. And then you go to the next country that they went to, which would be Canada. These are the places, and then the UK, Costa Rica, Mexico. This is the orphanage they went to in 80. It could be a really good book idea. The International KISS Tour Guide.
Well, it should be. Everybody from every state should do their own.
No, get it all in one volume. So no longer exists. So people don't waste time with trying to track down places.
I live in Massachusetts, so I'll cover like New England. And if you live in San Francisco, you cover like that area, and then you get together. But I do have a partner in crime, Greg. I always say his last name because we both have been doing this for like maybe 3 or 4 years. We have a private, just him and I. We just started as a joke one day. And then when I went to New York, he's like, oh, man, you're nuts, Andy. And I'm like, yeah, let's do this. And I haven't gotten there because of COVID and everything else. But I actually have a lot of, and that probably stuff is really gone now, but I have one just for Ace Frehley. I mean, literally, just Ace stuff, and people are like, you don't want to go to those places. I'm like, I'm going, I'm going to go to the shithole of the areas that he grew up in and going through his book and all the other crazy stuff. I want to go there. I want to go to that Powell Park and sit there, even though I don't drink anymore, with a beer in my hand and play hard times. You know what I mean? Or go through the park and, space out. And I actually know the spot. He says in his book that when he was now I remember he's just a junior. He said, oh, I'm in the gang, whatever, but he was like a junior.
Yeah, he was a junior ducky. Younger.
Yeah, a junior ducky, right? And he says, oh, I went across this bridge and we used to hang underneath it. We didn't want to get busted by the cops. I know where that is. And I can understand why he said busted by the cops, because the police station is literally right there. It's right next to the bridge that they hung under it. And I'll tell you, that bridge, man, if you fall, you're dead, because it goes it's like a corner. The bridge goes straight, but then it's a corner. You're a goner. You fall, you're dead. So I haven't done that one yet. So anyways, that's another time whenever I do that. But I have
so there you are. There is a book proposal that doesn't need a Kickstarter and shouldn't take 6 years to bring to fruition, but it does take the involvement. It would be a collaborative effort. I want nothing to do with it. But I think it'd be a really cool, fan guide, and the fans do come up with some of the best things these days in terms of, executing. So I'm sure that's in someone's wheelhouse. I'm sure someone's halfway there in terms of cataloging a lot of these days. But it'd be really interesting just to see what still exists in each state, in each city that that KISS has made a mark. We got way off topic on this. I want to wrap on one thing. Elder picture discs, rock and roll over picture discs are shipping and being received by people. And that is, of course, the non-limited edition version of the Elder picture disc, the hand version, the throwaway version. That is out there. It comes with a lenticular insert or something to that effect. I did not buy that one. I bought the other version that triggers people when we talk about it, since so many did miss out on it. But those are being shipped and being received, and I haven't seen any grumbles yet. So that's a very positive thing. It does seem that they're shipping from a different location, which does suggest that the transition to the new fulfillment company, which is much closer to the source, has been completed or is in action. So positive things seem to be happening. Keep an eye on your orders. If you do have any questions, email the original contacts. I think all that's been cut over. I don't have any insight into that side of the business. It's all merch, so I generally don't care. But there's hope. Unless you're a purchaser of Dubai, in which case it really seems the boat has sailed, literally, figuratively. There was another delay. They're still blaming the band, which I find very distasteful. You don't blame bands. You don't attack artists. You just don't do that when you're the business. Not good form. There we go. So Andy and me, we just free-formed a whole bunch of discussion about the KISS Cruise, everything else. Come back, see us on Saturday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, and that's May the 7th, of course, for Daniel's Revenge Era quiz. Let us know your thoughts on this topic wherever you watched it, and if you're going on one cruise, two cruise, either cruise, never cruise, enjoy it. Life's too damn short to be bitter and bitchy about everything. Tomorrow's not promised. Right now is what counts, and what you do with it is the most important thing. And see your friends. Enjoy the time you get together. All right, peace out. That's it for now. Take care.
Later.
Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.